You're listening to Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information, check out chrisblair.com. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Elise Hayes. She was one of my picks for the Unsigned Artist of the Month, and I've been blessed to call her my friend for over 10 years now. We're going to talk about how she went from concerts on her porch to her neighbors to the Nashville singer-songwriter pop artist that she is today. What she experienced and learned at Berkley College of Music, how it was being on the road with Carly Pearce, the story behind her amazing song, Human Heart, stories behind her film and TV success with songs that she's had on Grey's Anatomy, Good Trouble, Charmed, several MTV reality shows, Beauty and the Beast, and many more. Here's Stories Behind the Songs with my friend, Elise Hayes. Hey guys, this is Chris Blair with Chris Blair's Stories Behind the Songs, and I'm here today with Elise Hayes. How you doing, Elise?
I'm good. How are you, Chris?
Good. So good to have you. I've been really excited about this one.
I'm excited to be here, as always.
We have known each other for, how long now?
I've lived here 11 years, and I think I've known you since the first year, so long time.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And I've just gotten to watch you grow as an artist and writer, and it's been amazing. So I'm excited to dig in and let the world know a little bit about you. And we also got to highlight you because last year we started highlighting an unsigned artist of the month every month, and you were one of them.
Yes, it was awesome. And you guys surprised me on stage with that honor when we were taping the intro video, that got me.
Yeah.
That got me so good.
That was
super
a lot
fun.
of fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go back. Let's just go back to the beginning. How old were you when you first started singing and kind of realizing that music is something that you wanted to do?
Gosh, I mean, I know it sounds cliche to say, but I feel like I've been singing kind of since I could talk. Yeah. I used to kind of go out on my porch and give little concerts for the neighbors. And it was just what I gravitated to really naturally as a kid. I was always, writing songs and singing them in my classes, or I don't know, just putting on little shows in the neighborhood or whatever it was. It was the thing that I wanted to do. And so I started super young, and I think I really didn't do a big performance until I was in 6th grade, I don't think.
Okay.
And then it was okay, I'm hooked on this. This is the thing I'm supposed to be doing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about instruments? Was it just the vocals at first and then the piano came after?
Yeah. So I started taking piano when I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had lessons from the music teacher at my school. And that for me was definitely it was a little bit more of the classical training through grade school. And then kind of as I got into high school and I kind of realized wait, I can, all these little melodies that I've had in my head, I can actually put these to chords. And then it just kind of snowballed from there into writing songs and really pursuing that.
Yeah. So then you went on to college and you went to Berkley College of Music, which is amazing.
Yes.
So do you feel was that your step to kind of you chose that to basically follow the dream and all of that, versus going to Berkley kind of changed you to okay, now this is all coming together with a big bow? And
well, I think for me, I grew up in a pretty small town in New Hampshire, and my parents were so supportive of me, but they weren't exactly sure, they didn't know anything about the music business really. And so it was sort of why don't we try to find a school that would be able to help you connect some of these dots? And Berkley was just the most incredible experience, because I went from this small place in New Hampshire to Boston with 1 in 4 kids being an international student, and all different kinds of music, pop, rock, jazz, all different kinds of world music. It was just so immersive that it kind of was like I went into like a little time thing and just like really worked hard and really honed in on some stuff. And then by the time I left, it was like, I just felt like an entirely different artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and now obviously you're here in Nashville, but I think that's what's cool about Nashville too, is like people look at Nashville as like country music USA, right? Like, but it truly is music city. And you've experienced that because, what would you say that your genre of music is? It's not country.
It's not country. Yeah. And that's kind of been like sort of a challenge in living in Nashville in a way, but it's also been a huge blessing, I think, because I felt like when I moved here, what I was doing felt different. It didn't feel like what everybody else was trying to do. And in that way, I think I was able to sort of hone in on my sound and sort of my writing and respect the fact that it was different. But I guess I would say that it's like singer-songwriter pop. But I have influences in everything. And I feel like living here and, so many of my friends are in country music here. My husband works in country music. I've played country music for friends. It's inherently part of me at this point, but it's just not like my main genre.
Yeah.
But I do love it. So
I think your main genre is amazingness.
Oh, well, we will take that.
Yeah, just across the board, amazing.
Oh, that's so
You've
nice.
You've got that voice. Obviously, we talked about this with the unsigned artist, but it's just, I think it's a little bit different with you because I've known you for so long and I've when I decided we were going to do this, you were one of the first artists. I was like, okay, Elise has got to be one of them. But it truly is like one of those voices that like people can be doing whatever they're doing and then your music comes on and if they have a heartbeat, they should stop and go, wait, who is this? If they never heard you.
Nice.
So it's just, I love it.
Thank you for saying that. That's so nice. And obviously the listening room has been like, just to have a place, and I've said this before, but like to have a place to come where you feel like, even as a relatively unknown or unsigned artist, like you can come and you can play your songs and people are listening to you. And it has built my confidence and it has given me like so much. So it's pretty cool what you're doing for all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I want to get into the stories behind your songs, but you talked about your husband being in country music and your friends in country music. So I think that's a good segue. Let's talk about Carly Pearce.
Yeah.
You have had the honor with, Carly's like one of your best friends and you've worked with her for years. You were her keyboard player and backup vocalist. So let's kind of talk about how that was for you and kind of like going from friend playing writers rounds together in Nashville to tour and all of that.
It's one of those things where you're just sort of like, I feel like I watched somebody get on a rocket and go to outer space. Like it's been an amazing thing to watch happen. And my involvement in it was honestly completely unexpected. Like I was on board with Carly. I remember like the first time that I saw her play, I was like, she's Faith Hill. Like, I think she's going to be Faith Hill. Like, I just believed in her so much from the first day. And because we were musically so different, it was like such an easy friendship, There was like never any weird vibes because I wasn't really pursuing country, And so when she was on her radio tour, her guitar player ended up quitting because he had something he had to go do. And they called me and they were like, would you want to come? Because I had played at the Opry with her, Every Little Thing, that first single that she had. And she was like, would you want to come play and sing on my radio tour? Like, it would just be a couple of weeks. Like, I don't want to take you out of what you're doing, but like, if you want to do it, like, I would love to have you. And I was like, wow, like, I don't even know if I can do that. Like, wow, like, just like, I had never played for another artist before. So I was like, yes. And I practiced and I learned all of the songs, and singing together, it's like singing with a family member, because we had just done it so much here.
Yeah.
that it was so fun. And we just kind of fell into this thing. And then it was like, would you want to come on for the summer? And then I ended up staying for like over a year, and we got to do all kinds of cool stuff. And it was amazing. I mean, I got to do like some things that, you just kind of dream about and that are on your bucket list. And I have crossed off a few because she was generous enough to like share her ride with me. So, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, this is a relaunch of the Stories Behind the Songs.
Yeah.
You may remember, but I did this like 5 or 6 years ago.
I feel like I do remember that.
Carly was my first guest.
Wow.
And the day that we did the video of her interview was the day that Every Little Thing dropped.
Wow.
So it's been pretty cool, like going back, like now as we're relaunching this to like see, I mean, it was like 5 or 6 years ago. It was like, it's crazy.
I know. And it's a long time ago, but it doesn't feel like that long ago. Just with like everything that's been happening in the world, like it's been a long 5 years.
Yeah.
And but you look back and you're like, wait, that feels like not that long ago. Oh my God, the growth is amazing. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool.
So you did that. You got to experience that, and then you got to focus on you and your artistry that I'm so excited for.
Thank you.
So let's talk about, I'll put you on the spot and let you pick a song, but I want to talk through whatever song you want to talk about, whether it's out in the world that people can go listen to or not, but like take me back to like the full story behind it, why it was written, how you wrote it, the process of doing a demo, what that's like, all of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the title track of my EP is called Human Heart.
Yeah.
And that song for me just feels very much like me. I don't, sometimes you write songs where you're like, I don't want to say you're playing a character, but it's like you're inserting yourself inside of somebody else's story to convey the feeling. And with that song, it was so me in that moment, just like needing to say what I say in the song, which is essentially like I had gotten into like a situation with an industry person where I felt horrible about it. Like it just basically was an argument. And I had to make a decision. That was a hard decision to make. And I knew I had to do this. Like it was an easy decision for me to make, but then the feelings of having to disappoint somebody were keeping me up at night. And I'm like, man, like I wish that I wasn't so sensitive. I wish that like my feelings were not getting in the way of like me being just focused on my business and the right decisions that I need to make for that to go forward. And so I just kind of like wrote down in my notes, like, damn, it's hard having a human heart. Like, it's just hard to be a person that feels, and especially in this business, which kind of, at times you have to be ruthless or in pursuit of your own dreams. You have to not ever to like be unkind to another person, but you have to be, strong in what you're following and what your vision is, And that's been hard for me. Like I've just had a lot of feelings around, not hurting anybody's feelings and not disappointing them. So I wrote that song with Danielle Blakey and Tori Touye, and I went into the co-write and I said, I have this title, Human Heart. And Tori was like, no, you don't. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she pulled up her notes and she had the same title in her phone for that day. So it was just one of those moments where you're like, wow. And both of them could relate in their own ways to just sort of that feeling that being sensitive is frustrating sometimes. And it's kind of like a specific feeling. It's not like this general like breakup song or it's about mental health, and it's about just navigating, feeling your feelings and being sensitive. And so we did a day of demo, which is basically just like quick put down the vocal and a basic track. And then I produced it out with Andrew Petroff, who's an incredible producer. He's working on Meg McCree's stuff and just had a cut in the Lainey Wilson record. And so he and I produced that out, and it came out great, and it just felt like so cathartic to bring it full circle and put it out, and people have responded really well to it. So that's like, I feel like my song,
Yeah,
you know?
it's such a great song.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thanks.
This episode is brought to you by Brit Skin Beauty. Located in the beautiful Indulgence Medi Spa in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Brittany is the go-to esthetician for facials, dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, waxing, lashes, and any skincare products and consultations. So many people in the music industry use her frequently, and her work speaks for itself. To schedule your next consultation or make an appointment, visit britskinbeauty.com or send an email to britskinbeauty@gmail.com.
So you've had quite a bit of success with TV as well.
Yeah.
And I know, that's a really awesome lane to get into.
Yeah.
But it's also really hard to get into. So you've had, I don't even know how many, I know like ABC, like CW, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like talk about how that happened the first time, and kind of like for people that are interested in even going down that path, what that looks like.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's sort of been, I feel very at home in that world, because I feel like it's a place that my music has an outlet. And so it's been really positive for me to just kind of know that like my music would be right for certain things. Maybe not for country radio, but for film and TV, it has worked. And so, yeah, I mean, how that first happened was I was put on an ASCAP round one of the first years that I lived here, like maybe, I don't know, second year maybe. And I met an artist named Jill Andrews, who at that time was kind of up and coming, and like in the Americana world, she was making a record, and we got together after that round and we wrote a song called Rust or Gold. And I wasn't even thinking about film and TV at that point. I didn't even know that that was really a thing. And she loved the song and recorded it almost immediately. And it ended up being on Grey's Anatomy, which was like, what? I couldn't even believe it. I just was like, are you serious? And so that was my first placement, which is kind of a big one to start with.
Yeah.
But
were you a fan? Were you already watching the show?
Oh my God, are you kidding? Yes. I was like, I knew Meredith, I knew McDreamy, McSteamy, the whole thing. And so yeah, to have a song on Grey's Anatomy was like something that it opened up the whole world of like, okay, well, what else is possible here?
Yeah.
And so I had people saying like, I really think that if you wanted to focus on this, it could be a place for your music to have a home. And yeah, slowly just kind of honed in on that. And not every song that I write is necessarily viable for film and TV. Like sometimes you're writing for certain pitches, or you have to be a little bit more strategic. But it's been really awesome. And I work with a few different companies that represent my projects in that way. And yeah, it's really cool. I feel really lucky that I've had the success that I've had, and I just kind of hope that it keeps going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because, it's kind of like winning the lottery every time. You're like, okay, like, please, like, keep going.
Yeah.
So
other than Grey's Anatomy, what's some other placements that you've had?
So I just had a song on the show Good Trouble on Freeform. I've had a song on Charmed on the CW. I've had lots of songs on MTV, like their reality shows. Gosh, like back in the day when Beauty and the Beast was on, I had a song on there, like a few of the NBC medical shows and stuff like that. There's a bunch. It's been really, really cool, really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
So what is next for you? What's the plan?
What is next? I mean, I really love having the freedom to make music that I absolutely love. And I'm kind of in this chapter in my career where I'm making a lot of different music. I have different projects for different kind of sectors of film and TV that are really fun. And I'm working on my next EP, and I'm never gonna not be doing my artist stuff. Like that's just who I am through and through. And so
Yeah.
that's just going to be something that I always do. So I'm working on another record and just producing music, and I hope that it just keeps getting better. It has, continued to get better. So I hope it just keeps going.
It has. I can attest to that. I've had a front row seat.
Yeah.
It's been amazing to watch it.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been a huge part of it. So.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, you have. You have. It's been really helpful to be here, and to, like I said, it has built my confidence in a way that, I just feel lucky. So thank you.
Did you struggle with that before? Like confidence and playing in front of other people?
Not necessarily. I think just like the opportunity to play to a full room. Like when you're an unknown artist or an unknown songwriter, like that's a pretty rare opportunity, and I just feel like it helped me feel like, okay, I can do it in a smaller room and I can hold attention, and I just feel like I was able to like hone my skill here. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get down and dirty and some fun stuff. Not that that's not fun. That sounded bad. Let's get off of the music. That's why people are listening. So if you had to tell your 10-year-old self, like what advice to do, knowing where you are now and all of that, what would you tell that person?
Do what's fun. Like, do what feels good and do what is fun, and be open to the road, like the path changing. I feel like, because my path has been sort of like twisty turny, and I've done a lot of different things, and I've kind of just had a lot of different roles in my career,
Yeah.
And if I had said no to any of them, I feel like my life experience would be a lot less rich, if I had been too narrow about what it would look like. So I've done what's fun, and I've tried to say yes to things and just be open.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, what I would say.
What about someone that might be listening out there that is, let's say, high school age, and has found their voice or is finding their voice, just starting to write songs, maybe just starting to play guitar or piano and thinking, you know what, this is maybe something that I want to do. What kind of advice would you give somebody like that? Not as far as just follow your dreams, but like, do they move to Nashville? Do they move to LA? What steps should they take?
I mean, I do think that being in a city where music is all around you, like Nashville is so unique in that respect.
Yeah, it really
like
is.
if you're in New York, or even if you're in LA, like you can, and those are two obviously incredible cities too. I feel like it's a little bit more spread out, and here it's like you are so immersed in it. I would just try to immerse yourself in it. Like, if you can get down here, that's awesome, but also put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to not be the best. I think that's like, don't wait. Just like get started, and it'll work itself out,
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
What do you think the hardest thing for you has been, like as far as any hurdles?
Oh, I mean, I think just kind of accepting that I've had a different path, I think has been definitely, there's our good days with it and bad days with it, like when you are a kid and you think it's going to be this one thing, like I was just saying. And then, if it looks a bit different, that can be hard sometimes. But at the same time, like, I'm grateful for all of it. And I get to make so much music that I absolutely love making. So I feel like just kind of being open is like the best and the hardest part.
Yeah.
Of all of it, for sure.
I think, that is, from an outsider looking in, I think that's what is going to make Elise Hayes such a big rock star.
Oh.
Because you've gone through, I've seen you like, you know, go down this path of music that's the ups and downs, and it's the, you know, great wins followed by like a door in the face.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
just it's so hard, and there's so many people I think that, you know, move to this town or wherever and start chasing this, and they have the talent, but they can't keep going with all of the stuff, right?
There's a lot of stuff.
There is.
Yeah, it's hard.
But you know, it's also, there's a fine line, because I've also seen on the other side, you know, the people that have such thick skin and they're like, who cares? I'm going to do this my way, blah, 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 blah. And even some of them that might make it for a song or two, like it's not the long end career. Whereas like with you, what I see is like someone that has the dedication and determination to like not give up and keep going, along with the incredible talent.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
But it's also the humbleness and like the reason that you wrote the song that you were talking about earlier, because you're literally up at night worrying about upsetting somebody.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, like that's a creative. Like we're emotional. We're, you know, we're going into a room and having therapy every day with paper to pen.
Hated my therapist.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like that is what creates amazing songs, because you have a heart. You have a humble human heart.
Human heart, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, gosh, such big things are coming. I know it.
Thank you, Chris. That is such a nice thing for you to say. And I really appreciate that. I really do.
You're welcome. I mean it.
Yeah. I love you.
Love you. Well, I want to keep this going. I think that's going to be the fun thing about relaunching this is like, you know, to bring people back, you know, every several months or whatever year, and just kind of follow the career. So I hope we can do that.
Yeah. I mean, anytime.
Cool.
I'll do anything whenever.
All right. So. In the meantime, all of you out there listening or watching, make sure that you go follow Elise Hayes.
Yeah.
Download her music, pay for her music.
Yes, please.
And where can everybody find you?
So I'm just at Elise Hayes on Instagram and Elise Hayes Music on the TikTok when I dabble on the TikTok. And EliseHayes.com for all shows and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And we'll have all of the information in the liner notes. So
perfect.
Yeah, we're so glad that you took some time out of your day to come hang with us.
Yeah,
and
this is so cool. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right, this is Chris Blair with Chris Blair's Stories Behind the Songs with Elise Hayes. We'll see you next time. This has been an episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information after the show, head over to chrisblair.com. That's where you can find information on these episodes, trailer notes, video links, all kinds of great stuff. Also, make sure to leave us a great rating on iTunes, like and follow us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. I really hope that you think this show is awesome, and we really appreciate the love and support. I promise to keep gathering great content and continuing to sit down with more amazing songwriters and artists as we grow. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.